guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Myra from Low Carb Love, and today we're going to be making a pumpkin cheesecake, and of course it's going to be low carb keto friendly. It's a super simple recipe, so I'm going to go over just step by step how to do it, and I will show you the finished product. Let's just go over what you'll need. First off, we're using a small springform pan. This one is a little 6-inch, and I'm also going to include a little parchment paper so that it doesn't stick, and that'll go right in there. We're going to get started making our crust because that's going to go into the oven, so make sure that your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and you'll see how simple it is. So let's move these little guys out of the way. We're going to get our almond flour. Okay, you're going to put in your sweetener and some pumpkin spice. Now the pumpkin spice is completely optional. If you do want to use cinnamon, you can do that, or no, just use the sweetener and the almond flour. But this is going to give it like even more of a little like pumpkin-y taste, you know, because guys, right now it's pumpkin spice fever. And now we have our melted butter, and we're going to put that right into our almond flour. Okay, and this is how you're going to make your crust. So now we just mix. Okay, so you mix everything into a little bowl. You'll see what it should look like, and we'll just pour it right into our little pan. Okay, and I've made it before without the parchment, but the parchment just makes it easier. So now we just put it in there. You're going to spread it out as best as you can. Okay, so now that our little crust is, you know, has basically filled the bottom up to the corners, now we're going to bake it. Again, we have the oven already preheated at 350 degrees, so we're going to do it for 7 minutes because, of course, we're going to put it back in the oven and it'll continue to cook. So we're just going to like lightly brown it. 7 minutes. So we put our crust in the oven, and now we're going to do our mixture while that bakes. So you're going to leave it in there for about 7, possibly 8 minutes. You just want it lightly browned. You don't need it to get all crispy because you're going to put it back in the oven, and ultimately if you cook it way too much, it'll just get kind of crumbly. So let's start with our mixture. We have our softened cream cheese here. You want to make sure your cream cheese is softened. Then we have our pumpkin puree. You want to make sure it's pumpkin puree and not pumpkin pie mix, because the pumpkin pie mix has a ton of sugar. So we have our cream cheese, our pumpkin puree. Now let's get our sweetener in there. And then we have our pumpkin pie spice and our cinnamon. Okay? So let's give this a good little mix. I'm going to use a fork just to make sure everything gets well incorporated. And we're also going to throw our egg in here. Okay. So let's go ahead and crack our egg. And put that aside. And now let's make sure it's well incorporated. Meanwhile, our crust comes out. Once it's out, your mix is already done, and you're just kind of ahead of the game. So I'll show you the consistency right now once I have it mixed in. And you can do it with a hand mixer, or, you know, but if your cream cheese is softened, you can do it with a fork just like I'm doing. Sometimes I get lazy, you know, like I use my stand mixer or hand mixer, then I have more dishes. I do my own dishes, guys. Oh, there's our crust. Okay, so let's go check it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And then I will show you the consistency of our mix, okay? So let's get our crust. Let's get our crust out. As you can see, it's lightly brown, not super crispy. Here's our crust. Put our little glove on the side. Let's make sure that this is well incorporated. You're always going to want to taste your batter. I know it has a raw egg in there, but honestly, you just want to taste it to make sure it's sweet enough, because when you put it in the oven definitely takes away from the sweetness, and you want it to be a little sweeter than what you would normally think your pumpkin will taste like. So your pumpkin, you know, cheesecake or pie. See, I think it's okay. Okay, but of course, if you like a lot of sweetener, or some, you know, you have a big sweet tooth, you'll want to add a little bit more. Okay, so I ended up adding an additional 2 tablespoons of sweetener because I just want it to be sweet enough. You don't have to, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so now we have our little, you know, our crust, and we are going to pour our mixture right in. Okay, so you're just gonna get your crust and pour it right over it, and then just scrape the edges. You don't want to waste. You don't want to waste. Okay, and we are going to bake this little baby. Okay, so I will show you. We're gonna put this in, and I will show you what it looks like once it comes out, okay? So let's go ahead and put your glove on, be safe, and let's go. You can do 25 to 30 minutes, okay? So I'll show you what it looks like at 25 minutes, and we'll see if we need an additional 5 or it's good to go. Okay guys, so here is our pumpkin pie. We're gonna let this set, cool off on the side, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge. But last night, I was thinking ahead. I actually, another one. Yeah, I made a little twin. And this set was, you know, it's set overnight, but you can totally just let it
couple hours.
Set for a couple hours. Thank you, Nothing. So let's talk about this little crack here, because I don't want you guys to get scared. If your cake, if your pie has a little crack just like this, it is totally okay.
It just happens when it cools, but if you like put in hot water, it doesn't have a crack. If you
do like a water bath. If you bake it in a water bath, then it will not crack, but obviously I did. These are delicious. We've already made these several times, and they're
it doesn't matter.
The bomb. So let's go ahead and do our favorite part.
Should we do this one first?
So Nathi has whipped cream, and I have my keto condensed milk. I will link it in the description below. Hold on. I will link it in the description below. So if you guys want to make this, I mean, honestly, it's absolutely delicious. But I'm going to pour a little, and so you guys can just see the consistency, okay? Look at that.
Wow. You know what it looks like? Starbucks caramel drizzle. From the, what is it? The caramel milk.
Just a little. Like a caramel candy. Okay, so we're gonna add a little whipped cream. Nathi's gonna help us out with that. Just put some a little in the middle. All right, guys, so now we're gonna do the taste test. So Nathi's gonna go ahead and cut a little slice. Get a little piece. Go ahead, Mama. Okay, cheers. Wow, that's for huge. Wow. What do you think, Nathi? True. Let everyone know your greñas are over the...
So good.
Now, guys, this turned out perfect. It's absolutely delicious. There's creaminess. There's, I mean, everything that you would want from a pumpkin cheesecake. It's right here. You have to try this. I would recommend maybe doubling the recipe so you have a bigger pie. But if you're alone and you don't want to make a big pie because you don't trust yourself, like me, then you want to stick to this size here, which is a small. I would say this is, I wouldn't say personal because you still want to, you know, get slices from this, but it's much smaller than having a big, you know, a big pumpkin cheesecake. But all in all, I say it's perfect. Make it. Tag me on your recreation so that I can share them on my Instagram. I will have everything linked below. In case you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure that you do that. I share so much more information on there about keto, low carb, recipes, and just everyday tips on how to live a low carb lifestyle. So we are so obsessed with this pumpkin cheesecake. I'm gonna be making a huge pie for Thanksgiving. So this is like a great option if you're going to a family's house, if you're gonna go, you know, you're hosting something at home. This is going to be perfect. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We love you and we'll see you on our next video. Mwah.